Well, shout out to the subscribers, everyone that likes, comments and shares. You're doing your bit. Big up. Mate, it's moving malarkey, man. What a drama, right? I'm moving, yeah. Meant to be in the new gaff a week ago. It ain't got no hot water till tomorrow, so like everything's a delay. So I'm still sleeping at the old place. Moving all the stuff to the new place still. Oh, it's long, mate. Right, got the keys on. What's date today? Thursday. Got the keys on Tuesday, yeah. Got the keys on Tuesday. Went there, yeah. Come in, open the thing, yeah. And the first thing I see was an unrolled £20 note, the old ones, yeah, old paper one, yeah, just on the side. Right, I thought, oh, touch. Someone's left a score behind. Just Ramo, just Keiko with Charlie all over it, right? After Geezer's nose is all over it as well. I thought, oh, that's why I'm a week delayed. The builder's been right getting on it in here, yeah. usually it's a livener, isn't it? You have a little livener when you're doing them sort of work, so you can work on into the night. Not like, not so you could just have a fat party for like a week and delay me for a week. I mean, this is the God's honest truth, right? I've got the note. Put it in the drawer, yeah. Give everything a little wipe down in case he's left any residue, right? But I didn't think to wipe all the light switch down, yeah. So like I put this. It's happened quick. I've come in, see the note, put it away, right? Give everything a quick wipe, and then I'm like just turning on all the lights on, yeah, to well, just to get ready to start decorating in there. Just turning all the lights on, scratched my face, didn't think nothing of it. My lips went numb. My entire bottom half of my face went numb, mate. God, this is a strong coffee. But yeah, the cheek of him, mate. Cheek of him. Like, I don't mind you getting on it, but just get on it and do it properly. Like, get on it so you work harder. Not so like you invite all your mates around and just have a party. But yeah, so I'm still in the old gaff. I only just found this jumper to put on. I barely could find any clothes or anything. Didn't do a video. I totally forgot about the video yesterday. Totally forgot about it. I was just totally forgot. I had other things on my mind. Well, I realised that about, I don't know, night time. I thought I ain't done a video. People that lie though, right, let's crack on. People that lie about their case, right? Strictly people that lie about their case. No other liars. I've still got loads of stories about the plum. You all know who the plum is by now. In case he's watching this, you're gonna have to keep watching so you hear more stories about the lies you used to tell Plum. Plum is stepdad, by the way. Right. This is all about ego, these people that lie when they're banged up. The only people that it's not an ego thing, right? I'm going to give one example of a domestic. I'm not going to fill this up with domestics here. I've got 2 or 3 examples, probably 3. And yeah, look, this is what I was writing on. Look, I couldn't even find a bit of paper. Look, this is literally what I'm writing on, so to remind myself. Usually I write some notes or say, just so I don't forget. Couldn't even find a bit of paper. Most of the stuff's at the other gaff. What is that? Wall plugs. There you go. Yeah. So usually it will be domestics that lie. They're ashamed of what they've done. In my opinion, this is all just my opinion, innit? I'm not an expert in nothing. I'm only telling you just what people told me, what I heard, what I saw. It's only my experience. What do I know? But usually people that are in for a domestic, they'll never hold their hand and go, yeah, I'm just a terrible husband. I'm not laughing at the I'm just a terrible husband, boyfriend, whatever, and I just come home from the pub and turn into a bully. No one ever says that. It was like, oh yeah, mate, she's terrible to me. She's bullying me. There's one example, I cannot remember this geezer's name. Chelmsford, yeah? I say pretty boy, right? I'm not saying he was fit. It's an English term, pretty boy, right? Do you know one of them boys that takes well too much care of himself, yeah? Like a bird, yeah? Pretty boy, yeah? Puts the cream on, does his eyebrows, got his hair all long and all that, yeah? Looks like he's walking a fashion walk, yeah? When he goes out and like exercises. Who are you trying to impress? But he was alright. That's the thing, he was alright. And I felt sorry for him, yeah? Everyone did, yeah? Just to walk around with his own thing, giving us a sob story about his life, about how horrible his bird is for him. He was like, one day I've come home, I was drunk. This is what he's telling me to my face. Like, got in bed and my birds woke me up with a thing on my neck. I'm like, what are you doing? They started punching me up and I didn't know. And I'm like, please stop, please. Rolled off the bed one time. And this is what he said led to him being in there, yeah? So he's come home, so he's put a thing to his neck and it started hitting him and he's sort of like fighting the covers sort of thing. Don't know what's going on because it's pitch black, asleep. And he's like sort of like knocked her off the bed as she's going to town and inviting him in and doing all the stuff that terrible person, that terrible woman did. And he said, yeah, she got a black eye when she fell off the bed and then she got me nicks and this and that. Yeah, like, but the way he tell this story, and he'd obviously had this story down, he told the story a million times before he's told it to me, like, you know what I mean? And not just to me, like, I wasn't the closest person he was to, but he sort of, he used to have it with all the cleaners really. Like, I was a cleaner, I used to come out and sell and like talk to the cleaners and all that, yeah. Right, so never done a jails, never done a day jail in his life, yeah. Never done a day jail. Didn't have a clue. So everyone used to help him with the ropes and show him the ropes, I should say. Everyone used to show him the ropes and yeah, no one used to take advantage of him. It's not like that, Joe. It's not like everyone, as soon as you walk in there, if you're a numpty, everyone takes advantage of it. It's not like that. If you're a knob, people will. You know, if you want to walk back, try to flash your cash, go, oh yeah, I've got loads of money, like, how do I get this, how do I get that? Someone will go, oh, I can get that for you, give me that money. Someone will do that to you, but he wasn't like that, yeah. He come across as a like humble geezer that and had a terrible life, right? And he'd ever, right? So anyway, and he used to walk around, exercise, and he'd be telling stories about what she did to him, different times. He'd be on holiday, grabbed him by the hair and, you know, pushed him in the swimming pool. And at some points I'm thinking, you are a man, mate. You're going to stick up for yourself here, like, you know. But obviously he's just telling me, not obvious, this is just my opinion. He's telling me what he was doing to her, but making out it was her doing it to him, yeah. And I fell for it. I think everyone did. It was like, oh, you poor thing. What are you doing with this bird for so long for? Oh yeah, she's really fit. That's probably why, yeah. Anyway, he goes to court one day. Don't come back. He said he might go home or whatever. He got out. He just got out. He went, you know, going to court. How long are you going to get? He's probably done it 6, 7, 8 months anyway. So, you know, by the time you go to court, we sentence you to a year. Go home, right? You know. But come out in the paper. You know, the local paper, wherever the Chelmsford local paper is for Chelmsford, yeah. Someone's got hold of it, and yeah, it was him. He was just spatter her. Like, there's no two ways about it. That's literally what he used to do, and every single story about what ever happened to him was him doing it to her. The night that he come home drunk, she asked him what, you know, is this an acceptable time, and he just weighed her in. It's the bottom line of it, and one of them ones, when he come back for doing the exact same thing like a month later, he went up to another wing and everyone blanked him. Like, everyone on our wing, because we was on the induction wing, so we seen him come through again. He was like, we read what you did and all that. We're like taking the piss out of him more than anything, you know. If you wanted to have a beef with every geezer that was in there for a domestic, you literally would have fights with every other geezer in every other cell, because it's terrible, like, at the minute for that thing in jail. I'm not even saying they're all guilty, they can't be. A lot of them are, but a lot of them ain't, but a lot of them lie as well. Yeah, he come back, head down, for another reason this time, because he knows he's been exposed onto the other wing. He don't want to stay on our wing anymore, surprisingly, and he'd probably, you know, go and give a sob story to someone else that don't know. Another geezer, nuts, he was a cellmate, told me he was a security guard in a bank, yeah, and it was just straight from the off. I just knew he was lying, but I used to just G him up every night. I was like, did you really? Wow. And he'd obviously watched too much films. I mean, I think I was Die Hard 3 last night, and I think he was watching that before we met, yeah. And Do you know, like, do you know in the films where you've got a key, the other geezer's got a key, you both got to put them into the lock at the same time, turn it at the same time, otherwise the vault won't open. The vault, yeah. Geezer was telling me he was a security guard in that West, like vault and all that, right? I mean, allegedly, imagine if I'd ever run up in a bank before, yeah. I know for a fact banks ain't got vaults in, right? In fact, if everybody that's ever been that's a customer of a bank went there and said, can we all have our money out all at the same time? The bank wouldn't have it. The bank would shut down. Like there's money in the bank, but it's not as much as what people think. Yeah, it's not as much as what matey thought, right? So he's telling me, yeah, he's got a job. I don't know, right? So, somewhere in like Basildon, I think. Right, yeah, like the local NatWest in Basildon or something, or Barclays or whatever. And he's lying, obviously, right? I used to G this geezer up saying terrible, like, oh, did ya? Go on then, tell me more. I'd let him get deep into it, then I'd go, you're lying. And every single night he used to get spotted. Anyway, right, so he'd be telling me that he was just a security guard in the vault. So, like, you know, his job was to guard the vault every night, yeah? Oh, right, yeah. And like, so in the morning, yeah, the bank manager would come with a key. He'd be there, you know, with his key, open the vault, and then he'd go home. Oh, did you? I said, mate, this is like, do you know why I know you're lying? Like, and he'd be like, what? I'd be like, yeah, this is off this film. Like, you know what I mean? And then he said that one night he just, I don't know, he got hold of the other key and just robbed the vault, like, yeah, robbed the safe, the vault, the millions out the vault, the gold bars, the gold bullion, everything. Yeah, he was a multi-millionaire, this geezer, by the time I met him. In reality, I bet his debts when he went in the cell. Don't leave your paperwork around me. Especially if you're that sort of geezer that's clearly lying. Debts, paperwork, it's the proof of what you're in there for. Keep hold of your debts if you've never been there for. If you need to if you think you're going to have to prove what you're about, keep hold of your debts. Best way. Yeah, he was in there for a drum burglary, and it was a penknife and a red bottle of wine that he took. Bottle of red wine, I should say. Bottle of red wine and a penknife. That was it. Another geezer, Clacton, right? Clacton is a little coastal area in Essex. Yeah, people in Essex go on holiday to Essex. I don't really like Clacton, yeah, but there's some beaches around there and all that. My personal preference of Clacton is irrelevant, isn't it? But this one geezer works in a pub, right? Met him. All these stories come from Chelmsford, actually, different times, but just randomly they all originate from Chelmsford Nick, right? Obviously there's a lot of lies in Chelmsford. Mate, this geezer works in a pub, yeah? He's older than me. He was actually alright. He was alright. He says, these times I was inside on the induction wing, yeah? Like F wing, and works on a server as well, and he was the same. So he'd deal with all the inductions that come in, yeah? I can't even remember, a little fat fella, right? Yeah, he works in a pub. His story was, he was the landlord of the pub, and he'd just been clearing it out every week. He had like a scam going where he was taking a few grand, doing dodgy paperwork, and you know, fake this, fake that, just so he could have the money out every week. Not all of it, obviously, but grands accumulates over time, doesn't it? And eventually, you know, he's in jail for, I'm putting this number out for in there, but 50 grand. Like, it was a lot of money that he was saying, 50 grand, 100 grand, whatever it was, he said he was getting a lot. And yeah, he said he was getting a lot. It all come on top. The owners of the pub, it just come on top. The paperwork, whatever they'd see come on top. He'd ended up in Chelmsford for some massive fraud. His story. Here you go with this one, mate. This is this is why I think ego's terrible. We all need it a little bit, but mate, he was a barman. He was the barman or a manager or the barman at this pub. He wasn't a landlord. He worked in there. Why would you wanna? Why would it bother you that you only worked in a pub? You know what I mean? Nothing wrong working in a pub. That's what he said, and he lied, and he said he was the landlord, whatever. Don't forget, he said he'd been having some massive ongoing fraud for months and months and months or years, where he'd been clearing out this thing over time. In reality, he was loading up, he was doing the float, like the tape one night, you know, counting out what they'd taken, and he had access to the safe. There was a couple of grand in the safe, and he took it. Probably something I would have done, to be brutally honest with you. Spur of the moment thing. Ooh, I'll go on the run with this, see you later. Probably something stupid that I would have done. Don't do it. But why lie? Why lie about it? Because it just makes people suspect that you're lying about other things. Especially in there as well. When you're lying about your crime, you've lost all credibility, ain't you? You've lost all credibility straight away. Yeah, just own up to what you've done. Even if you're a full-on domestica. Even if you're a full-on domestica, just admit it. People probably don't like you, but they'll respect you. If you enjoyed that, hit subscribe, and we'll chat again. Adios.